Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam. Former US President Barack Obama is back in the news. And some people think that he never really left the news cycle. There's always something that happens that brings Barack Obama's name back in the news. I mean, for example, healthcare. When we talk about healthcare, it's almost always you have to talk about Obamacare and how widespread the impacts of that law continue to be. Now, many people still very strongly oppose that whole law, Obamacare, and of course there are supporters of Obamacare. Obviously, with any law, any policy, there will be supporters and there will be those that strongly oppose. Now, on the international level, when you look at the geopolitical landscape, we often have to talk about the actions that Obama took while he was in office. And some view those actions favorably and some don't. When you look at the US Supreme Court and the decisions of the justices, of course, there are liberal justices and conservative justices. When you look at the liberal justices, you have to think about the Obama appointments, meaning Justice Sonia Sotomayor and Justice Elena Kagan. And then people still talk about the auto industry bailout, and that took place when Barack Obama was in office. And there's a lot more. There are many examples. So even after all these years, people still talk about Barack Obama and the decisions that he made when he was in office, the actions that he took when he was in office. People talk about his administration, and we still analyze the decisions that the Obama administration made and the impacts of those decisions. But there's a different reason why Barack Obama is back in the news. The former president said something that is not true at all. Barack Obama said that the United States is dangerously close to moving towards autocracy. He said that. And he said that in an effort to criticize President Donald Trump. Barack Obama said that the United States is dangerously close to moving towards autocracy. And I think it is very disrespectful to say something like that. Being a former president, Barack Obama is saying that about the current president, Donald J. Trump, who won by a massive landslide. Let me just say this. We are a constitutional republic. There is no dictatorship in America. There is no autocracy. There is no monarchy. There is no kingdom. There is no empire. The United States of America is a constitutional republic. We are not moving towards autocracy. We have a president, Donald J. Trump, who is tremendously supported by the American people as the Trump administration is trying to enforce our nation's immigration laws. Now, because of the magnitude of the problem, this entire illegal immigration problem, this crisis that Joe Biden created, because of the magnitude of the problem, tough measures are required. And that is what President Trump is adopting, tough measures. He has empowered ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. President Trump has empowered the Border Patrol agents. President Trump has a border czar who is doing a tremendous job. The border czar is Tom Homan. And President Trump is doing what the people elected him to do, which is mass deportations. And so for former President Barack Obama to say that we are moving towards autocracy That is completely absurd. President Obama, the former President Obama, should learn something from former President George Bush. Former President Bush, he is usually away from public attention now. He served 2 terms, and now he is enjoying a life of retirement. But Barack Obama somehow finds his way back to the news articles. He's back in the news. He said this and now he's back in the news, and it's not productive. If Barack Obama has something constructive to share with President Trump, if former President Obama has some constructive idea, some proposal, some advice that he wants to share with President Trump, then he can do that. He can get in touch with President Trump, maybe meet with President Trump and share his ideas, share his advice. Barack Obama served for 2 terms, so if he thinks that he has some valuable knowledge, some information he wants to share with President Trump, he can do that. But to publicly suggest that our country is moving towards autocracy and to blame President Trump, it's just completely absurd. And now Barack Obama, he said that he's the hope guy, meaning he still believes in hope. He still believes in optimism. That's great. That's wonderful. I am always optimistic. No matter how challenging things may be, I'm always optimistic. And those who have been listening to me, those who have been, especially those who have been watching my live streams on YouTube, the live streams that I've been doing for more than a year now, I think 1.5 years, those who have been listening to my live streams, they know that I'm always very optimistic. I'm always very hopeful. Even when Joe Biden and his policies were destroying our economy, I held on to hope. I prayed for better days, and I was hopeful that our hardship will end and bright days will be coming soon. Even as Joe Biden and his policies were causing inflation, and as we suffered, I did not abandon hope. We struggled, but we were hopeful. And I was hoping that Donald Trump would win the election, and he did. And so I have always been hopeful. I have always been optimistic. And I've always said, no matter how challenging things may become, we must be hopeful and optimistic. So hope is great. Optimism is great. And my reason for optimism is the fact that we now have Donald Trump in the White House, and we have the Republicans in control in the House. The Republicans have majority in the House. The Republicans have majority in the U.S. Senate. And the American people have rejected the woke Democrat policies. And the American people continue to reject the nonsense coming from the left. So all of that combined makes me feel very optimistic and hopeful about our future. And I feel that our country will prosper. We will be more prosperous than ever before. We will not be defeated. Our society will not be overtaken by left-wing activists. So I am hopeful, I am optimistic, but I don't know what Barack Obama means when he talks about hope. When he talks about hope, he's probably suggesting that he is hopeful that the Democrats will win in 2028. He's probably hopeful that the Democrats will retake the House and the Senate in 2026. I'm guessing that's what he means when he says he is the hope guy. But I am hopeful that the Democrats will not win in 2026. I am hopeful that conservative common sense policies will prevail. I am hopeful that we will once again win in 2028. I am hopeful that the Democrats will be defeated. I'm hopeful that the Republicans will keep control of the House and the Senate. I'm hopeful that we will make our country greater than ever before. Anyway, former President Barack Obama can criticize President Trump as much as he wants, but the American people stand with President Trump, and the American people stand with the Republicans in Washington. Freedom-loving Americans want peace. Freedom-loving Americans want safety. Freedom-loving Americans want a sound economy. And we want more opportunities for the future. We don't want to go back to the days of the Obama administration. We don't want a big bloated bureaucracy that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. We want control of our healthcare. We don't want big government. We want to cut red tape, not create more red tape. We want more freedom, and we want a small and limited government. My friends, our country is not moving towards autocracy. We are moving towards greater freedom. And I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic. And what Barack Obama said, that is completely absurd. Once again, we are not moving towards autocracy. My friends, share with me your thoughts. I want to hear from you. You can go to my website, tausifanam.net, and send me a message through my website. You can also email me. My email address is tausif@tausifanam.net. You can also find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on X, and I'm also on Truth Social. So connect with me, share with me your thoughts, and thank you for continuing to listen to my podcast. I hope to be back again soon with a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam.